My name is Burnett. This is for Management 510. I did my project on the pros of offshoring. So here's a quick overview, a table of contents. I talk about 3 arguments for the pros of offshoring. Then I discuss a counter argument to criticisms of offshoring, and then a synthesis and a personal reflection. And here's a quick background. Offshoring is the relocation of work from a domestic location to a foreign location using a foreign supplier. Offshoring is seen as a practical answer to many operational issues for both small and big companies. Offshoring is often done to reduce labor costs or to utilize more favorable economic situations in other countries. Offshoring has been typically utilized for operational processes like manufacturing or accounting. However, with advances with bandwidth and fiber optic cables and other technology, other services are now available for offshoring, such as telemarketing, document management, and software development. Offshoring is feared by some workers in domestic countries whose jobs are threatened by the transfer of those jobs to other countries, and we'll discuss that in a few slides. The 3 arguments that are supporting offshoring, which I'll be talking about, are offshoring gives companies the ability to cut labor costs, it provides jobs in developed countries, and it makes products and services more affordable for those living in origin countries. So first, offshoring gives companies the ability to cut labor costs. Offshoring is primarily a cost-saving strategy for businesses, and at times is seen as their only means of survival. It has also been related with improved profitability, greater productivity, and durable long-run economic growth. It gives companies the ability to reallocate finances to other areas like marketing and R&D. For example, American Express paid a company in India to develop a program which they successfully did for $5,000. It is estimated that the same program would have cost millions to develop in America. So simply put, many American companies would not be able to compete on the world stage if they were only able to manufacture or develop or have their services in America. Offshoring gives these companies the ability to be competitive on the world market. Offshoring provides jobs in developed countries. Offshoring creates great economic benefits for developing countries. Countries like India and China, and many other countries for that matter, have a skilled labor force without any work. Offshoring has enabled these countries to lower their unemployment rate and help boost their economy. It is estimated that in 1991 to 2001, employment abroad in the multinational affiliates of the U.S. headquartered companies increased by over 2.8 million workers. Offshoring provides jobs in developing countries. India, for example, has become the global leader in the export of IT consulting and business processing services, which is providing Indian workers with decent salaries. Offshoring has created a new middle class whose salaries are still low compared to the US, so it's creating a stable and competitive market. In 2003, the Indian IT sector was able to employ 500,000 workers. Although some argue that offshoring takes advantage of those in developing countries, and sometimes it does, but the research stated above suggests that offshoring is helping countries like India develop a middle class and stimulate their economy. Working conditions are very important to pay attention to, but to take away the jobs entirely will likely hurt most everyone involved. Offshoring makes products and services more affordable for those living in the origin country. The reduction in labor costs makes products and services more affordable to those living in the origin country. It also allows for companies to reallocate their savings in labor to marketing and R&D and product development. This allows for companies to focus on creating better products and services. For example, a company can hire a software developer for $60 an hour in the United States, or they can hire a software developer for $6 an hour in India. These massive savings provide consumers with products far less expensive than if the US didn't offshore. Another example is found in medical advancements. Companies that offshore the labor for medical devices can divert the time and money saved into new projects, into new devices. This creates better medical advancements for both the US citizens and others around the globe. Counter-argument to criticism about offshoring. The main criticism found on the opposing side is that offshoring is harmful for Americans because it removes jobs from the US workforce. Although this view seems legitimate at face value, there is research that discredits this concern. 58 U.S. manufacturing industries were examined by 3 economists from 2000 to 2007. Their study found that offshoring reduced costs enough for companies to expand and create more jobs domestically. More specifically, they found that increasing offshoring jobs by 1% led to an increase of U.S. native employment by 1.72%. Workers in America will lose their jobs from offshoring, but often workers are able to move to other jobs within the same business or be hired elsewhere. This is because, as indicated by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, increased offshoring has been found to increase net domestic employment. The result of their research suggests that the greater offshore activity increased net domestic employment. Although reallocation of workers was substantial, that is, workers were moved to a different job within the same organization, or workers may have been hired by other establishments. Furthermore, Heinemann 2013 points out that many Americans lose their jobs from new technology and productivity advancements, not just from offshoring. Offshoring allows for new jobs in the U.S. to be created to help those that lose their job from those other factors. Synthesis. Offshoring provides businesses the opportunity to send their production and services to other countries where the cost of labor is much cheaper. It provides companies the opportunity to save large amounts of money that they can reinvest into other areas like R&D, marketing, product development, etc. It also helps many developing countries by providing new jobs and stimulating their economy. Furthermore, it has provided products and services that are far more affordable and accessible. The savings from offshoring benefit the consumer as well as businesses. Offshoring is revolutionizing how businesses operate. It is breaking barriers between countries and allowing companies to find the most effective ways possible to create their products and services. The savings are passed down to the consumers, and jobs are created for people who might not otherwise be able to find work. While some argue that it's taken away jobs from America, many economists have research which shows offshoring is creating more jobs in America than it is taking away. My findings on the issue of offshoring surprised me. I always believed offshoring was wrong and that we should keep jobs in America. The research has definitely stretched my thinking on the issue. I believe that offshoring does benefit many people, and while job loss is a concern, it doesn't mean that we should assume offshoring is net negative. There are legitimate concerns on both ends of the argument. I realize we need to be more open to understanding the issue holistically. In the future, I would like to be able to articulate a more rounded perspective of offshoring when the issue arises in conversation. I also think it is important not to forget those in America that do lose their jobs to offshoring. I am in support of developing training programs for those who lose their jobs to offshoring so they can learn new skills to be competitive in America's changing job market. There are also people that do not have the mental abilities to work more complex jobs and will suffer greatly from offshoring. I'm not sure what can be done to help these people, but my faith tells me not to forget about the poor. It is essential that we remember our job market will continually becoming more complex and competitive. We must remember that some people are not capable of keeping up and find ways to help them. And here are my references. That concludes my presentation. Feedback is always appreciated. Thank you for watching.